Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining today. We'll give it just a minute for anyone else that's joining. See a couple more people joining in here. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We'll get started in just a minute here. All right. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Teresa Donahue. I'm the Brand Engagement Marketing Manager here at Volusion. At Volusion, we want to ensure that you, our merchants, receive an all-in-one e-commerce experience so that you have all the tools and support you need to successfully grow your business. And we're able to do this by partnering with experts like Marketing 360. Today, we have two amazing subject matter experts from Volusion and Marketing 360 walking us through how to boost conversions and optimize your e-commerce store. Today, they will be covering e-commerce analysis, optimizing your website, utilizing Marketing 360 to increase your traffic and sales, and we'll also be answering your questions live at the very end. So before we do get started, just a couple housekeeping notes to go through. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, please submit them in the Q&A section of the webinar. It should be at the bottom at your toolbar. And we'll be answering those questions live. And to learn more about what we cover in today's webinar, we will be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow with all the resources and a recording of the webinar. And I'll also be sharing a link in the chat section here in just a few minutes. If you would like to learn more, you can sign up for a free website checkup, which Angela and Dave will be covering later on here in the webinar. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to our hosts. Thank you, Angela and Dave, for hosting today.
Thank you, Teresa, very much. And thank you all for showing up or coming to the webinar today. I'm Angela. I am a client growth specialist here at Volusion, and I have the privilege of working with our Volusion merchants and net new merchants and helping them grow their business through design and marketing tools um, to increase your e-commerce business. So yeah, so Dave.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me. I've been at Marketing 360 for going on 13 years now, so I've seen it, and I've been there, and I've had a lot of experience with helping people in general, growing businesses, everything from brand new stuff to enterprise level clients.
So
So
today we are gonna, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
Dave and
yeah,
I are going to
we have
talk
some
over
good
each
stuff here.
other's We work too much together. We think the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Dave and I have the privilege of working with everyone and doing website checkups or website analysis. And we're always looking to incentivize you guys to or give you some bonuses to help with any type of marketing campaign you have. So what are we doing here for them today, Dave?
Yeah, so anybody that does decide to go for it on a marketing campaign, we're doing 2 free months of weekly social media posts for people that are attending the webinar.
That's awesome. That is great. And then also with website checkups, we also have some specials too that we offer you. We'll get into those when you all book a website checkup with us. But today we're going to go over what Dave and I do when we look at your website with an e-commerce analysis. So we examine a lot. So as soon as we get an engagement with a website, we're actually going to take a deep dive into your website design. We're going to talk with you about your marketing opportunities, what you've been currently doing, what you've done in your past, and what you possibly could do in the future. My job is to make sure that if there's any cost savings I can extend to you, I will do so. And that could be through several different types of discounts. But we also look at competitor analysis And we have some payment processor through Stripe that can actually not only save you money, but also help you with conversions. Dave, do you have anything to?
Oh, that was good.
Nope. Okay. Next slide. Yeah. So Dave, why don't you talk to them about what we do during the website checkout? Get
Yeah,
granular. Yeah.
yeah. I think one of the most important things that you can do for a business is to look at the health of the site at least, every 6 months to a year, to get a good indication of, you know, how the site is doing, how it compares with people in the same industry. Are you trending up? Are you trending down? Is this something that needs immediate attention? Is this something that you can kind of take your time over the next year or so and look at? I think one of the big things for this is that we want to look at kind of the market as a whole and to see how you're positioned in it, and that means number of clicks that you're getting to your site. It means how your domain authority stacks up in the search engines. Those type of things are important, and so I tell people, if you're not paying attention to it all the time, at least once every 6 months to a year, you should be looking at an opportunity to say like, how am I doing? Analytics are available all the time. But a lot of people, you guys are busy in your day-to-day businesses. And this stuff gets put to the wayside. And so before you start, dropping or things start happening to the site, it's a good idea just to get an overall look at the site and to say like, what needs to happen with it.
Yeah, and with all the different the Google algorithm changes that go on a constant basis, it's always good to get a look at that every 6 months too.
Yeah.
So, because it can really make a difference for sure in your traffic. Next slide. So this is where Dave and I will come in and actually, once we do an analysis of what's going on with your site, we use some tools. We use SEMrush, we use SpyFu, different tools to look at what your current health of your site is, um, and give you some suggestions on what you could do to improve those. We're also going to look at your design, make sure that it is conversion focused, make sure that you have good um, design built in where your navigation is easy for the user. So there's some different, yeah, we look at everything basically. And then also I can talk with you a little bit about getting the buy now, pay later options, which are going to also help you with your conversions going forward. So
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we want to look at like holistically is like there's so many different aspects of marketing, there's so many different
yeah,
aspects of design, and small tweaks to can make big improvements. And like one of the things that you see on here is like payments, right? Things like Google Wallet, which is like heavily used in the industry now, is really popular. Or Apple Pay is another big one. What and if you're
65%. Yeah,
yeah.
65% of users online are clicking on looking for Apple Pay and Google Pay. Yeah,
Right. So those are small things. Even looking at like just adding something like that can make a huge impact in the overall, the conversion rate of the site, right? Because if you're making it easier for somebody to check out, or if you're making it easier for somebody to get to the site in general, those things can make a big improvement. So when we do these things, a lot of it is like, what small tweaks need to be made, what larger things need to be made,
right.
and where do we need to be looking at from a future perspective.
Yep. Next screen. So optimizing your website. We're just going to touch on some elements on the design side of things that we look for. So if you could go to the next screen, please. There we go. So basically design the basic four C's, clean, crisp design, clear path to products, which would be your navigation, credible elements, which would be reasons to buy, call to act, like how many years you've been in business, and then also credible elements on payment systems and maybe even um, reviews on your site and accreditations that you might have. All of those things will help you with your design, and then also making sure it's conversion focused. And I will tell you, our newer software site designer is very conversion focused. So We want to look at your site, make sure that you're set up for the next 5 years. Next screen, please. So this is something we've already kind of touched on, but your website should tell your customers immediately within the first 3 to 5 seconds what you do, who you are, what you sell, and why to buy from you. It will reduce your bounce rate and it will increase your conversions. And good design done in like this, like Castor HQ, good design will tell you exactly what they do. It gives you information about how long they've been in business. They have free shipping, all these incentives for you to stay on that screen. And they also have the modern navigation that really advance those visitors to your cart. And then also all the new designs when it comes to site designers are all mobile friendly.
And I think to add in on this too is when you look at user experience too, is that when you, and especially things like site designer, tools are available to make it less clicks and easier to get to a customer to their destination, right? Which is ultimately for you guys to check out, right? And so things like quick view are really important for that. Things like good navigation tools help people get to where they're going. And the ultimate goal of all of this is to like, how can we increase your sales? And so when
Yeah.
you look at design, a lot of times we look at it like in a 2.5 or 3 second rule, which is like how many people, how long it takes somebody to identify what you do, how to get to where they're going, and are they on the right site for what they're looking for, right? And so
Yeah.
you want to kind of capture that traffic in a way that makes people like not only understand what you do when they hit the site or immediately, but like they can get to where they're going. And then there's other things that you do in the marketing side, which we'll touch on a little bit later, that can do things like Google Shopping, right, where it directly goes to products on there rather than somebody having to navigate through the entire site. But if somebody's landing on your home page, it should be really, really easy for you. So in a lot of people, you may have set up your products 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 8 years ago. It may be good at some point to look at like, hey, do I need a new design? And what does my category structure look like from a navigation perspective? Do I have 80 million categories that are hard to navigate through and make people try to dig to find what they're looking for? Or is this something that like, as you can see on Castor HQ, like, hey, do we have pictures that kind of show through easy ways for us, them to pick out what they're looking for? Or do we have like a category structure in that in most customers' mind makes sense? So those are all really important. And obviously you can see on there mobile friendly is really important because you're getting a huge amount of people that search on mobile devices. So if you're not mobile optimized at this point, it's
You
pretty
need to be mobile
yeah.
optimized. Yes, absolutely. And the next screen is going to touch on the two things that you were speaking of that I'm a big proponent of, which is actually the mega menu, which you're seeing here. If you're on a ladder menu, which is just basic drop down, you need to move to more of a mega menu responsive navigation. And then also the quick shop is listed there. It's at the category level, and it is where they can actually purchase the product, and they can also compare products on the category page, which is huge. Yeah, those two aspects of new design are super important for conversions and for your user experience. Next screen, please. All right. And then basically, if you are on an older theme, you're probably have a lot of white space on the side of your website. A newer design is going to use all the real estate on your website. So it's going to dynamically go to any type of size screen. I mean, there's so many different size screens now. So basically, a new design is actually going to give you that full screen view. And when you have all that space to use, you can really tell a story about what you sell and who you are. And that's very important for newer sites. People expect it. Next screen. And then once you have all of this, when in good design, within Site Designer, there are certain aspects of that design that were built just for Google bots when they scroll your site. And that would be the easy navigation that we talked about. And credibility elements where you're going to see in those themes that you're going to see call to actions, reasons to buy, areas for blocks for reviews, blocks for building brands, brand scrolling, things like that. There's all kinds of different elements you can add to really capture Google's eye when it comes to your site and helps it scroll more and keeps your rankings up. And also the speed of the site is going to help also. Um, but the one part that is going to be huge for you is basically having content on your site that is conversational content that builds you as a leader in your industry. And that's going to help you with your SEO. Um, and that's next screen. And that's where we come into Marketing 360 on what they can do. Um, we have been working with a lot of different Volusion merchants that we've been a direct partner with Marketing 360 for almost 2 years now, I believe. And I've had the privilege of sitting here and watching different sites really excel and grow their business with the way their program is set up. They do a very holistic approach when it comes to marketing. It's not just a tunnel vision, one, we're just going to do SEO or we're just going to do technical SEO. They really, really look at this holistically for your site, and it's customized just for your site and building your business within your industry. So, next slide. We have a couple of examples of kind of if we were sitting there with you in a website review. Um, this is something very typical that we see, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Where this is a 6 month review of a site that basically you can tell they haven't done much SEO work on their site and their traffic has dropped. It's down to about 30% to what it used to be. And if you notice, the keywords are trending downward also. There's different in this, they obviously need some SEO work. And that would be our recommendation there. Um, And then we also, I mean, everyone's is different. So once we look at it, we can give you some recommendations on what you need to do to improve the business for sure.
Yeah, and I'll touch on some of the things that
Yeah.
that like we commonly run into. So first and foremost, like I can't stress enough, if you haven't booked a website checkup before and it's been years since you've really looked at this stuff, please start looking at it. It's really important because like what you don't want to see is exactly what you're looking at, which is, somebody that's 30% traffic and then they're going, I don't know where my sales went.
Right.
And
What
and the
happened?
and the
Yeah.
answer and the answer is you can see where the sales went. It's just really really easily with the drop in organic traffic. And there's a lot of things that make a difference, right? Like how old is your content on your site? Have you ever refreshed it in the last 10 or 15 years? If you're putting new content on a site or you're a new business, is there purpose behind that content that you're doing, right? Do they have SEO keywords in it? Are you thinking about like any kind of analysis of like keywords and competitors when you're doing that type of stuff? So things like you don't want to see is things like this because people haven't paid attention to it for so long. And then and the hardest thing for us to do is sit there and go, hey, I know your traffic's dropped, but you have to sort of right the ship at this point, right? And there's got to be some change. And whether you do this yourselves, and you guys want to take on a kind of a DIY project, or you look at it from a perspective of your traffic has dropped and it's time to hire somebody else to help you with this. It doesn't really matter to us. What matters to us is that you guys are growing your business in a way that's
Right.
meaningful and in a way that you guys want to do that, right? Because there's ways to do it both, both DIY and to hire it out, and we will customize a plan to do that. But the important part is to pay attention to it before you start dropping these monumental shifts in SEO, because that will affect. I mean, overall, that'll affect your site long term, and it's hard. The longer you let that stuff go, and the harder it becomes to rebound from it.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
It is. And we run into a lot of different scenarios where we can actually tell here. I mean, it's one of the aspects is this company probably hasn't been working on their SEO. But there's other scenarios that might come up too where it triggers us to say, okay, you're getting all the traffic in the world, but you're not getting conversions, and that might be a suggestion to redo your design, or or maybe you're attracting the wrong type of traffic. Maybe you need an eval on your keywords, to make sure you're getting that curated traffic to your site, the people that are purchasing your products. So there's a lot that can tell us for sure. Now the next screen is one of the many success stories that we've had, and she started with an SEO project. She was at about 900 visitors, 900 clicks organically to her site. And now in about, what is it, about 15 months, 12, a little over a year.
A little over a year.
She's at 10,000. She's over 10,000 visitors to her site. Her SEO has, yeah. So it's these type of trends when you're working on your SEO, and even if you're doing it yourself and you're not seeing it trending in this manner, then you could probably use a little bit of help with that also. But it is something that M360 I've seen work with our merchants, have great success with, and have really basically turned businesses around that were struggling for years.
Yeah, and to touch on this too, one of the things that we want to look at is not only your peak, but like what the market saturation looks like for, for because like at that point, the peak on this account was about 3,000 organic hits or a little less than, right? And so, but the market share for this type of
Yeah,
account is much, much bigger. And as you guys can
right,
see, I mean, it allows us to sort of eclipse peaks and say what's the overall market share and what are the keywords that are A, getting traffic, and
right,
B, pushing conversions, because those are like the important things to look at. Is it's not just organic traffic, it's also about pushing conversions and making sure that
right.
the sales are increasing along with that as well. And so yeah, and the last thing I want to mention is I know we're going to be talking a lot about SEO, and SEO is important because it's essentially the mortgage on the house versus paid ad campaigns being sort of the rent. We also do a ton of work on paid ad campaigns as well. There's a lot of new technology, and another thing we hear fairly consistently
Often. Yeah.
is like, oh, I tried doing paid ads 5 years ago or
Yep.
10 years ago, and it didn't work. Well, the answer to that is like, it's a hard thing to do. Paid ad campaigns need constant monitoring and honestly the know-how to be able to do them. But the other thing is there's a lot of technology has changed over the last 3 to 5 years with the type of campaigns that you're running. There's a lot more AI friendly type campaigns that are smart campaigns that will help weave throughout the Google network to help create maximum results. And you can do things like set return on investment benchmarks, right, on some of these new campaigns, as long as you know how to set audiences and how to keep them from going off the rails. And so just because it's a smart campaign doesn't mean it's easy. Google doesn't make anything easy on these
No.
campaigns. They've actually gotten significantly harder to use from a person to person, just running their own business type standpoint. But they've increased the amount of technology to help maximize returns, which means a lot less waste, a lot easier to get to those good returns, and a lot higher returns when you start kind of getting down that. And we do offer audits to people. So there's a lot of times the campaigns we look at and we're like, hey, here's a couple tweaks that could be made. Or if you guys are
Right.
doing awesome on your ad campaigns, we will say, don't touch it.
Yep.
It's doing great.
Happened.
But
It's happened several times. Yep. And
but
and I appreciate, and our customers truly appreciate that um, transparency, because we want your campaigns to be successful for sure.
right.
We don't, we're not just here trying to, um, you know, if it's a good campaign, then we want you to stay with it because it's doing your business and building your business. But they have, and the audits have come in, and some people, the audits, the changes that you all have made with their audits has been phenomenal,
Yep.
um, phenomenal. So I don't know if you want to share some of those stories with us too.
Yeah,
Or
I think we
yeah,
have like 8 more slides to get through and like 5 or 6 minutes to do. But yeah, we've taken people and gotten 12x results within 6 weeks. I mean, we've gotten 5x results within 6 to 7 weeks. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff that turning around campaigns that you know were in rough shape, and done it fairly quickly. And so it can be done. It just needs a look at first. I mean, the easiest thing to do is if we do a website checkup for you, mention that you're running some ad campaigns, and let us know you want an audit. And we'll audit through. We'll have our ad team, walk through and audit it, and if it needs some suggestions, they're like, here, just tighten up your negative keyword list, or hey, if this, change some ad groups. I mean, we'll tell you that. If it needs overhauled, we'll tell you that too. So
So yeah, let's jump to the next screen so we can go over some. Dave, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, the one of the big things that we do if you do decide to sign up for a marketing campaign is that you have an incredible amount of expertise pulling from. I mean, we're top 3%, technically top 1%. Google Ad partner, as far as performance metrics go. We have a full team of people that are ad certified, that are absolutely experts at what they do. And truly, I believe like we have one of the best ads teams in the country on doing that. Our content team and SEO team it caters and customizes every single thing that we do. But there's also a ton of tools that we offer as well. So everything from our platform, when you go into it, goes through everything from like email marketing just to get that return revenue, all the way up to full transparency of your ad campaigns, and tracking and analysis on your campaigns in general. So everything from SEO is in there, and how your organic ranking looks, to email campaigns, and making sure that we're getting drip campaigns going, to intelligence sections that talk about last 6 weeks, or is this 6 weeks worth of analytics, and how you're doing and how you're trending and all that stuff. So we're looking at that stuff daily, just to make sure that things are going in the right direction.
So next screen, I think we have got some examples of that you just spoke about.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is where they can actually curate an actual um, marketing strategy just for your budget and just for your market. Um,
right.
we'll
Yeah,
touch on
and
that a little bit.
yeah, and so you can see sort of on the left side the tools that we offer, everything from social media management tools all the way, and that's something we haven't talked a whole lot about, but like social also is an incredibly important portion, especially for retail sales. You see it less in the industrial sales. So if you guys are doing parts dealerships and stuff like that, social media is a little less important. If you're a direct to retail or direct to consumer type of business, social's really important. So we've got tools that we'll look at how many follows you're getting, and that type of stuff, to like I had mentioned, some of the intelligence. But everything what we do is, as you can see on the right side, we put together a plan that will kind of be customized towards what you're actually looking to accomplish. If your SEO needs work, we can work on that content marketing. If you need some social work, in making sure that your social media is growing and that you're getting some social proof there, we can do that. And then there's ad spend, right? And we can work on the ad spend as well, and get your budget. So everything is custom tailored for you. You'll receive something like this if you're looking for plans and pricing that will be custom tailored for you, just like that.
Next screen. Yeah, and this is just an overview of the live data that they can give you through their platform. Because you don't just get a marketing team, you actually get a platform that is actually lays out your plan, whether it be SEO, whether it be ad campaigns. All of it is very uh, at your fingertips, and seeing what the progress is, what your results are, and so forth. So this is huge. Yeah,
Yeah. And what you'll see is you'll have a dashboard that will look identical to this. It's just a little screen grab from that, and it'll say, here's how much your content is producing, here's how much your ad campaigns are producing, what kind of social analytics data is. So looking at that stuff and being transparent is really important for us, because you should be knowing like what needs the most work and what's trending in the right direction. So we like I said, this is sort of like a screenshot of what I've been talking about, so you can see,
yeah.
here's what a 30,000 foot view of your store looks like right now.
Next screen, please. Oh, something we haven't talked about is email marketing also is within their platform also.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the cool thing is that their platform has you have the ability to have the marketing team help you with this email marketing, or you can do it yourself. And it's a very robust email marketing system that also has lots of analytics and so forth. You can go on journeys with your different campaigns. You can subset certain groups for different emails marketing. So it's very, like I said, it's very robust. Do you have anything to add to that, Dave?
No, I mean, I think one of the things that we should look at is like how you get return revenue, right? Because you guys take so much, it's so important for you guys to go in and say, all right, I've acquired X, Y, and Z customers over over the last, 5 years of doing business or 10 years of doing business. How do we continue that trend of utilizing every customer that you're getting for return revenue? I mean, return revenue should be about 40% or more of everybody's business. And so when you look at it, it's email marketing is one of the easiest, cheapest
Yeah.
ways to be able to get in touch with people and to continue that. And I think the thing is that I think we've all been there where we've gotten a product and we've ordered it and then you're like, "Oh, what was the name of that product?" Right? And I mean, we're all busy in our daily lives. And so doing something like drip campaigns, even if you're not aggressive with it, like once a month, once every quarter, whatever you guys want to do, you should still be letting people know that you exist, you're still out there, and that people can come back and what you're doing, or any tips and tricks. If you sell parts, and you're a parts dealer, what are other parts that people generally need to upgrade with the parts that they have? And you can segment those lists out by what
Yeah.
people typically order. So if like they're a snowboarder and you've got a snowboard and bike shop, and like you can cater everything towards somebody snowboarding, right? And so segmenting those lists is really important. And the longer you're doing this stuff, the more segmented those lists should be, and they should be catered towards what people like. So yeah, 100%. I think this is an easy way for an increase in revenue.
Next screen.
Um, so yeah, so I think one of the things that I wanted to kind of go over, which I think we actually had a Q&A a little bit about, is like how do you figure out the SEO for the business? So
Right.
this is sort of what, and we can answer that in a little bit like greater fashion because we're kind of near the end anyway. But one of the thing is, I think that's important is to look at like what a SERP looks like, right? Search engine report. And so this is an easy one to pull from just because it's very generic. What's the best leather jacket? So you're going to see a couple different aspects of that. Your first portion of that is going to be paid ads, right? Those are going to be a Google Shopping campaign. So all those jackets with the pricing, this is that Google Shopping campaigns are a really good way and fairly inexpensive way to be able to get your clothing out there, or to get whatever product you want out there. And make sure that you sort of eliminate some window shoppers, right? Because people know the price. You can see reviews on there. You can pull in specific product details. You can pull in, obviously you can see like free shipping on there. So any like details that you guys want to give on that, we can start working on that. It's inexpensive and it's a great way to be able to get in front of people. And like I said, it eliminates a lot of the window shopping, because if somebody goes, "Oh, that jacket that's, say $1,200 on there, way out of my budget," they're not gonna click on that. Or if somebody's looking for that higher end jacket at that $2,000 rate on there, they may be the first one they click on, right? So you're going to get people that are going to shop within their price range and what they're looking for. It also allows people to see that stuff beforehand. Below that, you're going to see an organic side of things, and just a typical organic listing. You definitely want your ad extensions pulling in there so you can see 4.6 star rating. Here's the differences in pricing on there. But the one thing I wanted people to look at, and this is how you look at what a SERP is people also ask, is a SERP feature? And one of the things that we way back when we were showing this, there's a little line that said SERP features. This is when Google sort of introduced this idea that there's other things that pull in besides just organic and paid listings.
Right.
And so you can see like what type of leather jacket is best. What is the best grade of leather for jackets? These are the things that you want to be structuring content around. And so when we do a lot of this stuff, we look at these and say, what's popular as a search engine, in search engines. So for example, we had a wallpaper company, right? And the wallpaper company, we wanted to structure it around specifically what a typical average user would search for. So we structured the blog around what, it was what the best wallpaper is to put over textured wall, or can a textured wall be wallpapered over, was I think the name of the blog. But it's such a common search, right? Because people that are DIYing are this stuff and that want to put this wallpaper up themselves. The first question I would ask is, can I throw up wallpaper over a textured wall? Um, and so, but it became an incredibly valuable blog because not only did it increase their visibility just through this people also ask section, but it also gave their domain ranking a whole lot more authority because they're answering questions that a lot of people ask, which is what Google's really, really looking for. So I didn't fully answer that question, but
Yeah.
I can get into that in a second. I think that's the end of what we were. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So to the Q&A, I hope they are still there. Um, so you asked, how do you figure out the SEO for your business? So hopefully that went into a little bit of it. So a lot of times we look at your search engine results, but we're going to use specifically a couple tools in there and usually SEMrush is one of them that Angela really
Yeah.
likes, but there's a couple
Yeah.
different ones that we can look at on the search engine
Sure.
reports that will help that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for hosting today. That was super informative. Um, Checking the question box, we do have time for maybe one more question if anyone had something else to add. But other than that, I was just going to say that I did put the link into the chat section to sign up for that free website checkup. And just as Dave and Angela said, you really want to make sure that you take advantage of this. This is free to you. And it's really going to give you a lot of insight into your website. Everything that
Yeah.
they just covered is completely customized to you and your business. So please make sure to take advantage of that. And then also just wanted to mention, we will be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow. We will send out the question that was asked today with a typed up answer. Also that link to the website checkup and any other resources where you can learn more about um, Marketing 360 and Volusion and everything we talked about today. So with that, I think that's all we had today, but thank you so much, Dave, and thank you so much, Angela. We really appreciate your time, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All
All
right.
right, bye.